said this is a fucking wow. This is an ADD thing, but I said I don't want to look like a schlemiel, and then
Yeah.
you went, oh, she's the schlemiel and the schlemazel, and then that made
Yeah.
me think of schlemiel, schlemazel.
Is that from? That's from Laverne and Shirley.
That's from the theme song. Doing it our way. You know they redo it in the in Wayne's World.
Oh,
When
I
they're
was
in-
just gonna
when
ask
they're in
why
Milwaukee.
and how you're familiar with Laverne and Shirley.
Well, I did watch
That's
a
a little
lot of Nick
before
at
our
Night
time.
as a kid, though.
Oh,
too.
fair, okay. Was it on? It was on some reruns.
I think they did. It was on Nick at Night, and I was a crazy ADD kid, so I would wake up at like 4 in the morning, and Nick at Night was still on.
Yeah.
So I would be watching like episodes of that, Dragnet. What was the other one? The Robin Williams show, Mork and Mindy. And my favorite was Get Smart.
I've never actually seen the show. I personally really liked the movie with Steve Carell.
You should watch the show.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it since I was a kid, but like I remember.
It's a comedy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like he's a doofus special agent.
Yeah.
And it's Don Adams, who's the voice of one of the Ninja Turtles. Is it Donatello? Who is he? Or wait, maybe he's not one of the Ninja Turtles. He's the voice of somebody, but I loved it. It was like one of my like favorite shows as a kid.
Yeah.
So I would like be pumped to like get up at fucking 6 o'clock in the morning to watch old episodes.
Yeah,
of
yeah,
that,
absolutely.
You know?
And it's funny. I was just thinking this as you were saying this because like all those shows that you just listed as shows you watched on Nick at Night are not shows I remember watching on Nick at Night. But we don't have a huge gap between us age-wise.
Big enough for stuff like that, though.
But yeah, exactly. Like in our
Yeah.
childhood, that was big enough that like 3 or 4 years later, those '80s shows were like even further back.
Yeah, and Get Smart was farther
That was-
back.
yeah, that
Get
was like a
Smart was
70s
like
show, right?
It might have. It was
Keep talking.
60s or 70s.
I'm just gonna
and
make sure.
Dragnet was fucking black and white. You know.
We are. I'm so smart. We're recording.
I pushed the button.
Pushed a button. Yeah, Dragnet's another like '70s cop kind of show.
Yeah.
Yeah, another one I'm not super familiar with.
It was alright. I mean, Jack wasn't my favorite. It was for me. It was mostly. It was my favorites were Mork and Mindy, Get Smart, and then what else was on that I used to watch? Oh, Bewitched.
Bewitched
Bewitched
I did,
was a
I
good
did
one.
watch Bewitched, yeah.
And then what was the other one? The one where she's the genie.
I Dream of Jeannie.
I Dream of Genie.
I used to watch that too, yeah.
That was another
Yeah.
one that was always good.
Yeah. Did you see the Will Ferrell?
The movie? No.
It was actually okay.
Yeah.
It was like they definitely were trying to do an homage and we're trying to do like it was all right.
Yeah.
It wasn't terrible. I remember it got trashed. I remember thinking it wasn't nearly as bad as people were making it seem.
Yeah.
But it was, yeah, I mean, it wasn't great.
It was one of those like, I don't have to watch that again.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was
No,
fun
absolutely.
watch, but I don't have to watch it again.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Like Saturday Night that we just watched.
Yeah, speaking of, yeah, so,
Which was super depressing.
yeah. What, the fact that it wasn't very
Yeah.
good?
I just, having seen the trailer, I was like, oh, that's going to be fun.
Yeah. So the movie, it's called Saturday Night, about the first episode of Saturday Night Live. Yeah, we were both excited for it.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it, but I didn't love
No.
it. Like it almost had the, at least for me, like I'm coming at it with multiple biases. A, I was like you said, with the trailer, I thought it looked good. Mm-hmm. And then B, being, SNL was like ever since I was a kid.
Yeah.
So it's just, I come into that wanting it to be really good and hoping. So like anything less than that was going to be disappointing.
Yeah.
I mean, it had its okay parts. We were talking about like, this guy who played Dan Aykroyd was really good.
So good.
Yeah, he looked a lot like him, sounded a lot like him. I mean, it was cool to see the chaos of it. Like I said a couple times as we were watching, like, oh, I guess this is true. Like with what's his name, Belushi going down to the skating rink in his B outfit and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like cool to see that side of it.
Yeah.
Because we don't really know these guys that well.
Yeah.
I mean, Belushi died young. We don't know like a young Aykroyd, which is funny,
As great as that would have been to know a young Aykroyd.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked the there were certain people in it that I liked, and I just like I thought going into it, I thought it was going to be about like the full first season, I guess. Also, so I thought you were
Sure.
going to get more on that, but also like some of the casting I didn't like. I didn't like the guy who played Lorne. He wasn't a bad actor; it just didn't make sense.
Know who he, and this further supports what you're saying. Know who he reminded me of
Who?
was, and this is really a deep cut for any Nathan Fielder fans. But he reminded me of.
I'm
Do you
already in.
remember? I think was it on Nathan for You or was it on the rehearsal where he held that fake class, that acting class?
That was the rehearsal.
So on the rehearsal.
Wait, was it the rehearsal? I think it was the rehearsal.
I think it was because it was having someone rehearse for something. But then remember he turns it into then he goes a layer deep and then has the fake acting class.
Yeah,
for that acting class.
yeah.
Remember the guy who played him,
No,
who played Nathan.
I don't.
That's what was killing me. Was that like
kept thinking about that guy.
He really reminded me of him. The way he talked too.
Yeah.
And this guy talked like he was doing an impression of Nathan, so he was going very deadpan. Well, I don't know about that. And like it's the Lorne. He was too soft spoken. I think
He was soft spoken, and like I know that like his voice and how he talks is almost like a caricature now at this point. But like,
Yeah.
I needed a little bit of that.
Sure.
Like I needed to say, and that man was Chevy Chase.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I needed
Yeah,
those
yeah,
little
yeah.
things where like just hearing him talk was going to make me laugh because like he does sound like that. Like
Yeah.
even the caricature of him at this point is somewhat true.
Absolutely.
You know, and he just felt like he was just a regular guy. And I think you said while we were watching it, you know, if you hadn't told me that was supposed to be Lorne Michaels, I would have had no idea that was supposed to be Lorne Michaels.
At the beginning, I wasn't sure until someone was like, "Mr. Michaels,"
Right,
And I was
yeah.
like, "Oh, that's Lorne."
Yeah.
And then, like, finally knowing that, then maybe my ear was listening for the accent and stuff. And he said a few things,
Very light.
but very, very light. And like you're saying, like there's a reason that every SNL person they say everyone does an impression of him
Yeah.
because it's very impressionable. I mean, it's Dr. Evil.
Yeah.
I mean, for those that don't know, it's quite literally is where that Dr. Evil voice came from.
That's
is
who he
Lorne
was based
Michaels.
off of, yeah.
And Dick Ebersol said, "It's really your show."
It's really your show. And that man was Chevy Chase.
And I agree because that was like the character I was kind of most excited for also because like you really don't know. For as much as I love SNL, I mean, Lorne is behind the scenes. I know
Yeah.
what he looks like. If I saw him on the street, I'd recognize him.
Yeah.
I can do an impression of him. I know what he sounds like.
Yeah.
But he's the guy behind the scenes. So I was excited to see, especially like a young Lorne, like what that
Yeah.
was like. But I just couldn't get over that he didn't really remind me of Lorne.
Not only that, and I also didn't realize that was Lorne in the trailer. Like, that's how little I realized that was Lorne. Like, just from watching the
Yeah.
trailer, I remember thinking, like, oh, I wonder who's playing Lorne. And, like, I didn't look it up because I was just like, I'm going to watch it anyway. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But, like, I had no idea that guy was Lorne.
Yeah.
But the guy who played the young Aykroyd was great. Corey Michael Smith was awesome as Chevy Chase.
Yeah.
He really nailed that. And
I'm sorry, Winston, but you're Winston.
yeah, but like he was good too. But like you said, I kept just thinking it was Winston doing an impression of Garrett Morris.
Yeah. So Winston from New Girl.
New Girl.
It plays Garrett Morris, who, for anyone, if you're now after this going to do your deep dive on SNL and everything, look into Garrett Morris. So funny. And Winston
See?
Winston did a great impression of him. He had his mannerisms, he had his voice
Yeah.
down.
The
But
cadence.
like we said, it really felt like an episode of New Girl where Winston was doing Garrett Morris.
Yeah, and I hate that for him because like he's such a funny and talented actor, and I just feel like he's gonna get that forever. He's just
Yeah.
gonna be him, you know.
Yeah.
And I hate that for him because he's so funny.
I agree. We're good. I didn't know if I hit the button off. Everything's just going so well right now that I'm like. I agree though.
You can cut that out, right? We'll do it in post.
We'll cut that in post. We're just gonna post. No. There is no post.
Yeah, we don't have a budget.
We don't have a post. Post is me. The post is just clipping. That's funny. That was none of what I was like planning to talk about.
Yeah, well,
great,
that,
though.
hey, we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. Yeah.
And with that, welcome to the show.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, though, yeah, welcome to the show. And he really needs no introduction because you guys already knew. You're like, oh, okay. These two idiots
I guess they're just going for it. Not even saying hi.
No, well, welcome. Welcome. I guess I'll call it season 2.
Why not?
Why not? It's been a minute.
You took a holiday break.
Yeah, I took a holiday break. We'll call it season 2, episode 1. We've got Drew Giacalone. You guys know him. You love him. Yeah, that was a great way to start.
Yeah.
That's what we're going for anyway.
Exactly.
I don't even need the notes.
Yeah. What's a note?
Yeah, what's a note?
That being said, let's look at the notes.
Yeah, with that being said, because it's well, yeah, this is what I wanted to start with. This I need to just get off my chest, and also want your fairly unbiased, non-filtered. You'll see what I mean in a second. You have an unbiased sports opinion about this, and I know that I speak for most of, if not all, Philadelphia sports fans when I say we are sick of Josh Harris, the owner of the Sixers.
Yeah.
And reason being why, and for any viewers that don't know, I'll just give you the quick high-level overview. Josh Harris, billionaire, owner of Philadelphia 76ers basketball team, New Jersey Devils hockey team, and the Washington Commanders football team. How much conflict is too much conflict?
Yeah. Meanwhile, they wouldn't let Steph Curry own a part of the by the Panthers because of his quote-unquote conflict of interest, which made absolutely no sense.
Makes zero sense.
Yeah.
Wrong sport, wrong everything. I mean, Philadelphia is actual rivals with Washington sports teams.
Yeah.
We're actual rivals with the Devils. I know the Flyers aren't very good right now, but we're historically rivals with the Devils. And to prove the point even more so, did you know that they were the only Philadelphia sports team on social media to not wish the Eagles good luck?
Who was?
The Sixers. And then also
Yikes.
didn't congratulate them.
Yikes.
When I could say, just from because I follow all these teams,
Yeah.
they're all very, as you know, New York, it's the same way. They're all going to be very, they're going to, go Flyers, go Sixers, go
The
Phillies.
Yankees and Mets always wish the Giants or Jets good luck. Even though there's nothing really to wish because they're always terrible anyway. But, they always do that.
Yeah. And it's so disgusting, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I agree. I think it's a bad look, and not only that, it almost just shines a light brighter on the why is this guy owning the fucking team?
Agreed. Is it enough to? Am I getting ahead of myself? Making sell the team signs?
No.
Okay.
No, because this is
I don't
the
think
thing.
I am, but
And I know this is like a pipe dream as a fan of any team. But at your core, you want the person who owns the team to be a fan of the team. And it's not just an asset to them.
Sure.
Right? So as a Mets fan, I get that with my owner, right? Mm-hmm. But I also, as a fan of the Carolina Panthers, for me, that guy is an asshole. And it feels like he's just
Gettleman?
David Tepper. Gettleman was the old GM.
Oh, right, okay.
David Tepper, for me, he used to be a minority owner in the Steelers. And then he bought the Panthers. And when he bought the Panthers, the Mets had just gotten, or maybe it wasn't just them, but previously, Steve Cohen had already bought the Mets, and he's the richest owner in sports, whatever. I think Tepper might be the richest owner in football. Oh. So when he bought, I could be completely wrong with that, but he has a lot of money. But when he bought the Panthers, I was like, oh, this is so great. This guy's got so much money. He's going to do the same thing now that Cohen's doing for the Mets, and he's going to really invest. And, we're going to actually spend money in free agency. If we'd spent money in 2015, we went to the Super Bowl. Imagine if, Cam actually had real weapons. Man, this is just going to change everything. Wrong. could not be more wrong. The dude immediately was just more, interested in, how to bring more concerts to the stadium and, just got in the way, So, in that sense, when you're talking about...
Not to cut you off, but in his ownership, does he also own the stadium, I'm guessing?
That I don't... I would assume so. Since he cares about bringing...
Otherwise, I'm sure
other stuff. Yeah, because he wouldn't give a shit otherwise. I'm pretty sure that means he owns the stadium as well. But in that sense, when you get that vibe, this is just an investment for them, it kind of it just feels icky to me. Mm-hmm. So no, I don't think you're preemptively bad to say sell the team, especially because wait, so he owns the Flyers too?
No. Flyers are owned by Comcast.
Gotcha. So he just owns the Sixers
Sixers, Devils, Commanders.
So just the Sixers.
One in each
Gotcha.
sport, with the exception of baseball.
Well, after that Embiid signing or extension, I would say fire him.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the thing too. It's not like his ownership tenure has brought us much good.
Yeah.
And, like, I can't, obviously you can't totally blame an owner for everything.
No.
But at the same time, when COVID happened, who was the first team that cut off payroll to all of their hourly employees? Philadelphia 76ers.
Was it?
It's Mr. Billionaire Businessman.
Interesting.
Saw a business opportunity.
I thought it was the Knicks because I remember they handled that poorly also.
Because, no, the only reason I specifically remember is because it was extra bad because all the players, like Embiid jumped in and was like, I'll pay for it. And
this is embarrassing. We're going to help pay for you guys.
This is embarrassing. I am a millionaire, but I'm worth, like 1/20th of what this guy's worth.
He's
and
like,
I'll make up for it.
I'm not playing anyway, guys. I'll just pay you guys all this money. It's okay. I'm not going to play the sport even.
This
it's
is
okay.
2021. He was playing a little bit.
Not that much.
No, you're right. The year we drafted him, he didn't play the whole season.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Jesus.
We had to wait for him.
Yikes. I love that that's his whole bit now. Is he's just like, I'm not playing today. Knees hurting. And I feel like that all started like right after, like it being a thing started like right after he signed that extension too.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't long after. You're not wrong.
Yikes.
Yeah, and that was pretty disheartening. I know me and other Sixers fans felt the same way. Seeing him say, I'll never play another back-to-back again, it was like, cool.
And that came out like right after it was signed, right? He didn't say that beforehand.
No, not before. No, because he signed his extension. This is the first year of his extension, maybe?
I think this is the first year of his extension.
And yeah, he said that like right before the season.
Right.
I want to say. I think that was his way of like easing you into it. Like,
yeah.
And by the way, I meant that shit.
Hey, don't expect too much from me.
Yeah.
All right?
We won't.
I'm here for the money.
You know what, though? And I know that this is going to make me sound delusional, but like I almost don't care anymore.
Yeah.
The Sixers are actually okay without him. They're not bad. No, obviously there's a huge hole because you're missing your center, which is a big piece to have regardless of who it is.
Yeah. And Paul George has been out, right?
Paul George has been hurt.
Yeah.
But like even with Paul George healthy, like he's looked okay for him.
Yeah.
I mean, really the future's Maxey. Future's Maxey.
Yeah.
The future is, and unfortunately he got hurt this year too, but our rookie Jared McCain.
Yeah, I wish
the
that guy was
TikTok
still
kid.
playing too, because him and Maxey are just like parlay machines.
They are parlay machines.
Love them both.
Absolutely, yeah. McCain jacks up threes.
Yeah.
He's a beast. Because I think especially Vegas wasn't sure about him at first, and he was just smashing all of his.
Yeah.
He was putting up 30. Yeah, that was upsetting to see him get hurt. I wanted to see him do well.
Yeah.
'Cause I find it so funny, the TikTok. Like they call him what is he, spicy something, the spicy baller or something like that they call him. Just because like of him do all the TikTok dances and like and it's just so funny to me. Like the best meme was like this guy's about to go drop 35 on your favorite team, and it's just this TikTok of him just like doing all this shit and like
Be so annoyed.
Absolutely. That's why I think it's so funny.
Yeah.
That it's just like, did you ever see that video of it's like in the Philippines, which is so random, but it's like a Filipino.
Have you watched this Filipino video? I don't know if I ever sent it to you.
But it's like there's all these guys are balling, and there's this obviously like very effeminate guy, and who just keeps draining threes, and every time and going back, he's just going and doing like the way he celebrates is so effeminate, so funny, but he's just raining.
Yeah.
And it was the funniest thing in the world to me.
It's like Prince.
Exactly. It's actually exactly like that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, imagine being Charlie Murphy and Prince just put a 45 on you.
Yeah. In 10 minutes.
This bores me.
One of the best sketches of all time, honestly.
For real.
Yeah.
Best part about those sketches, too, and we're talking about Chappelle's show, the True Hollywood Stories or whatever.
Yeah. Charlie Murphy.
Those are all true.
Yeah.
Is the best part. It's not just like, let Charlie Murphy tell you this crazy story that's not true.
Yeah.
No, it was Charlie Murphy's got all these crazy stories. Let him tell you them.
Yeah.
Like that game happened.
Yeah, that game happened, and then also the
Rick James stuff, right?
Rick James stuff. He was in the sketch. Mm-hmm. He was in the sketch. So, I mean, that stuff also happened. So, just to know.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug. They really are. And I don't remember if the Prince one came out first or if Charlie Murphy came out first. But I remember thinking, like, this can't be real. And then seeing the Charlie Murphy one, I'm like, oh, he's fucking in it. Okay, it's got to be legit if he's telling the story. Yeah.
No, that's true. Because that's what I had always just, for some reason, even beyond, like, I always still thought, I was like, oh, there's no way this can be totally true.
Yeah.
But then finding that out.
That all started, too. Those sketches started because Charlie Murphy was there on set, and these were just stories he was telling, like, in between takes and stuff.
I believe that.
And then Dave was like, we got to fucking make this into a sketch.
Yeah.
You know?
And Dave was like, I'll play the guys you're talking about.
Yeah, it's so great.
It is phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah.
We don't do segues.
What the fuck is a Segway? Like the thing you ride?
Yeah. Yeah. Vanderpump is revamping Vanderpump Rules. Bravo. Two unlikely guys. I think, you take a look at us. You're like, oh, they probably eat, pepperoni. I don't know about watch Vanderpump Rules.
If there's one thing I know that people know about me and you, when they take a look at us, they go, those guys, they eat pepperoni.
Which is funny because you'd be wrong. It's my least favorite pizza topping.
Also, same. It gives me a lot of agita now. I can't as an adult.
Me too.
It's too much.
Yeah. It greases up a pizza too much for me too.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it for me. Not worth the pain I'm going to pay for it later.
Yeah. I agree with that completely.
10 years ago?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
But even back then, for me, it
still wasn't my favorite.
No. There's honestly, I'm a you know this about me. I'm just a plain slice kind of guy in general. I do I like toppings and stuff like that, but I don't know.
Even like nothing crazy like a little ricotta.
Yeah.
Some
exactly.
sausage maybe.
Exactly.
Or
even our a mutual favorite slice of ours over at Andrew Bellucci's, like their tricolored one.
Oh God.
Like that's all that really is a plain slice with 3 different types of sauces.
Yeah.
But
and
somehow
that might be my favorite
slice.
Honestly,
right.
it's so good.
It's up there.
Andrew Bellucci's Pizza, or what is that? 30th Ave. Go.
30th Ave, yeah. Andrew Bellucci's Pizza, Astoria, could be the best pizza in New York. I mean,
it's up there for me.
Yeah, you can if you ever came to New York and made that your pizza stop, you'd be completely happy.
I had a friend who, one of my really good friends from college. I'm close with her family, and her sister was in town for work, and she was like, "Let's meet up. Let's go to lunch or something." And I think she wanted pizza. I was like, "I got the spot." She was so happy.
Yeah,
like, we got like a pizza and a fucking Caesar salad. And she was like, I could not have had a better of either of these things.
The Caesar salad's really good, too.
Everything there is good. Yeah. We haven't had anything there that I wasn't impressed with. And everyone that I've taken who isn't from here that goes there, they're always impressed. Well, even people who are from here that go there are impressed.
100%. I've never met someone who, Damien, who's a pizza snob.
Yeah.
And knows good pizza, was blown away by it.
Yeah.
It just boils down to you can tell that every ingredient is fresh. Mm-hmm. Every ingredient is, thought about. Not just fresh, but they wanted to get the best of stuff. They have the best cheeses, the best ever, and you can taste it.
You can tell.
So yeah, it's a $4 slice or whatever, and maybe a $22 pie.
Yeah.
It's worth it though.
But you're not going to feel like dog shit after too.
That too.
There's a difference when you have pizza. I love this whole tangent we're going on about pizza when we were starting to talk about Vanderpump Rules. Can we just rewind that? That's hilarious.
Yeah, for real.
We're so ADD. We need someone to wrangle us. But you can tell a difference when it's fresh, good ingredients. Because I've had literally just a plain slice of pizza before, where it was just dog shit, not fresh ingredients.
Yeah.
And you just feel like shit after.
Yeah.
Especially as an elder millennial.
Yeah.
I take a lot of acid reflux medications and stuff. If I have a bad, a shitty slice of pizza, that will wreck me.
Yeah.
But Andrew Bellucci's, I could run a marathon after that.
Agreed.
Just kidding. I could never run a marathon.
No,
but,
yeah.
Maybe I could, but present state, I'm not running a marathon. But I could have gone for a walk after that. We'll say.
Absolutely. No, I know exactly what you mean. Lindustry falls under that for me. It's a very fresh pie, or very fresh, light pie.
They're great.
light slice.
That Trek just sucks, but
And that's the problem.
it's very tasty.
And that's the thing too. And more shout out to Andrew Bellucci's, and really shout out to Astoria. We'll just give a big shout out to Astoria because I guess what, we don't have to tell the Queens people because Queens people come to Astoria.
Yeah.
For all you non-Queens people, come to Astoria. It's really not. It's not super inconvenient. If you're in Brooklyn, you're a little shit out of luck. That's why we don't end up in Brooklyn very often.
It's very rare.
But more people need to come to Astoria, or maybe they don't.
No. Yeah. Shut the fuck up, Mitch.
The food's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Or at least that's where I'll leave the shout out at, is that I think that it's definitely the best food area I've personally ever lived in, as far as just have the quality of stuff that you can get just, with a walk.
Yeah.
And that's what I think that people are missing out here.
I think the thing that one of the things I love about Astoria so much is the food. Like, so many different things here and like, obviously you can say that about New York in general, but like, I don't feel like I have to go anywhere to get, like, I'm not missing anything here.
No.
Like, there's the one thing I do think Astoria lacks a little bit is like really good Chinese food. There's good Thai, there's good sushi, but there's not like great Chinese food.
I'm with you there.
But everything else, I mean, halal food, check.
Yeah.
Greek food, obviously, check. Pizza, check. Like, barbecue, check. Like, there's so many different types of food around here that I really don't like. When I always tell people this.
Shout out the barbecue spot. There's not a lot of barbecue in the city.
Oh, what is that place? Butcher Bar on 30th Ave is fantastic. But when I worked out of Kaufman Astoria Studios for a year, I literally, like, I barely left Astoria because, like, I was working down the block and, like, everything I need is here.
Their pizza place, Saks, was that there when you were there?
Yeah.
Yo,
really good.
So good.
Really
I got
good.
personal pizza like a couple months ago.
Yeah.
It was like $10 also.
We used to order from there all the time, and there's also
so
a restaurant inside. It used to be called the Astor Room. I don't know what I think it's been like 3 different things since then, but that food is also really good too. Like, great pastas, great, like, steak.
Really?
Yeah. So that's like a slept on spot, I think, too, because a lot of people don't go there because they just think it's either like part of the studio, like, or something like that. But
that's what I always thought walking by. Like, I thought that it was. I mean, in their outdoor area does get more of a bar feel, but I kind of also just felt like it was like studio people.
Yeah.
It was like and I'm sure they do eat there.
So we used to order from there like at least once a week. Yeah.
But this goes to like kind of further the point of that, like, it's like that. I've seen they have phenomenal ratings for their pizza too, so you can, not all of the quote unquote best New York pizza is in Brooklyn or Manhattan.
No, not at all.
Like
not
I said,
all.
you can go to Andrew Bellucci's and you could have, because it's all relative. You could have the best New York slice.
Yeah.
There's a good jumping off point.
Yeah.
At least. I mean, even just it's a good, as Davey Portnoy would say, it's good football pizza. Is right over here at
Napoli. Yeah.
Has honestly one of the better plain slices I've ever had.
Yeah, I love Napoli's plain slice too.
It's again, is it going to knock your socks off? Maybe not. But for some people,
if you're not from here, it'll knock your socks off.
Maybe some Midwesterners, because
oh my God, I love pizza.
Folks, that shit's not pizza.
No, that's like a pie. Yeah, it's like a lasagna. Yeah.
It's not bad.
No, it's just different.
It's just different.
It's not pizza.
You eat it with a knife and fork.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and I know that you technically, I think in Italy the Neapolitan pizza they'll eat with a knife and fork. Sometimes too, but like that's again exactly. We're not in Italy.
We're not there.
This is Chicago. You also sound like this, Chicago, and you really want me to eat it with a knife and fork?
Oh my gosh!
Oh God!
Oh God!
Oh God!
Oh God! So we just went on a 10-minute tangent about pizza when we were trying to talk about
Vanderpump Rules. All because I said we look like guys who eat pepperoni when we don't even like pepperoni.
I wonder how much time we actually just wasted on a pizza conversation.
We will find out.
Yeah, we'll find out.
We'll see what happens.
Comment below. Get that engagement going.
So, Vanderpump Rules.
Yes.
For those who don't know, a show that was on Bravo for, 11 seasons?
Iconic show, yes.
Iconic show.
Yes.
It really is. It's what the joy I find out of it, and it's what I'm told by your girlfriend that this is at the core of what reality TV is. I was like, So I said it the other day. I was like, I like watching this because like the guys on the show. I was like, I know I'm not that bad ever. Like I've never in my life have been that bad. Like I don't know. When I was 16, I let a little bottle rocket out of my ass and got burned. That was
I've done
dumb.
dumb shit
That was
before.
dumb. I'm not saying that I was immune to being dumb.
We all have moments where like, just in life, you're like, wait, am I a bad person?
Right.
Not necessarily because you did anything wrong, but maybe just having an introspective moment, right?
Sure.
But watching a show like that, you're like, oh no, I'm fantastic.
Yeah,
I'm a really good guy.
Yeah, right. This isn't where we're going to set the bar, but still, that's out there.
No,
that's
this
out
this is a common occurrence in the outside world. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm not doing that bad.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I would never do that.
No, the levels of cheating, the lying, the just holding stuff over each other.
The crazy thing about that too is the lying and cheating where it's like, this is going to be on TV.
That
It's
I
like
don't get.
like you're lying about shit that like once the season comes out, we're gonna know you're lying. You know what I mean? Like that, it's that level too, where I'm just like, it makes no sense.
Makes no sense.
But what was your question about Vanderpump?
Well, we were just I've got a couple.
Oh,
We're just getting into it.
Let's go.
Yeah. I just wanted to kind of give a little backstory for the basement dweller fans.
It's one of if not my favorite Bravo shows.
Yeah, it's definitely my favorite
That I've
Bravo
watched,
show.
yeah.
I've popped in on the different housewives and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I think it's probably Vanderpump's relatable too because I've worked in
Restaurants,
food service, and it's probably very relatable to anyone who in their 20s,
sure,
finding your way in life and everything.
Yeah,
and it's so enjoyable.
It's kind of like if the movie Waiting was more about just the front staff, and they were all worse people somehow.
Right, absolutely, and you saw more of them.
And you saw more of them outside of the restaurant.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So if you liked Waiting, you'll probably love Vanderpump.
Yeah. You're not going to hate it at least.
No, it's a more dysfunctional.
Absolutely,
if that's possible.
It's good, mindless. It's like I said, I've now rewatched 3 of the whole series, and just because it's mindless, it's something after working Monday through Friday, just kind of want to let my brain just melt.
Yeah.
That's a good one for that.
Yeah,
I don't necessarily the other night I threw on Schindler's List. I got
this isn't light.
I got 6 minutes into it, and I was like, yeah, what am I doing?
I legit watched Schindler's List I think once, and I was like, I don't ever need to do this again.
It's a phenomenal movie.
It was great.
It is.
But it's just so. It's like the Holocaust Museum. It's like you walk out of there, you're just like, oh,
yeah.
All right, well that's a wrap on my day. I'm gonna go lay down now. And
Yeah.
Like it's just so much.
Absolutely.
It's so heavy that I was just like, okay, well that was.
Well, it's a real shame that all those people who died didn't think of you and what this would mean for you.
Yeah, you selfish fuck. Oh, was that too much for you? The Holocaust, learning about what happened to these poor people is too much for you.
Learning too much. No, but you're absolutely right, though. You're absolutely right. It's stuff that and it's great that you did. I think it's stuff that you need to do. I think
1,000%.
If you haven't seen Schindler's List, I think you should have to watch Schindler's List. I think you should go to the Holocaust Museum. You should go.
Completely.
You should experience these things. You should see what reality is. Especially when, even though as connected as we are anymore, it feels like we're so disconnected.
Yeah.
And that what is fact anymore? So
well, it's also too part of it for me now is and I've noticed this too as I've gone into my elder millennial phase. The second time I'm saying this in the podcast. I just the world sucks so much now that it's I relish laughter and
100%.
being in a good mood and all that so much more now because the world is so shitty that it's so much harder for me now to watch something that I know is going to be heavy.
Yeah.
Even if it's a TV show, a doc, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's going to take me a while to get to it because I have to be in the right okay, I'm ready for this now. I have to prepare myself now before I watch anything like that at this point.
I'm with you. No, I'm with you. And I'll still throw on Midsommar. But
keeping it light.
But it's that is also that movie to me, and maybe why I enjoy it so much is it also felt disconnected. As real as it felt, it is. It feels you know, it's supposed to be this cult and everything, and it's very realistic, but it also is disconnected because it was also
Yeah.
like, this doesn't feel real.
Yeah,
So it was very horror movie feeling.
Yeah.
Which I think, and that's maybe why I like horror movies, though. Also, is that it's, excuse me, that like, even though it's heavy stuff, it's obviously very fake. You know, you don't. You don't feel the same after watching Scream as you do watching Schindler's List.
Right,
you know, like,
correct.
even though you just watch a bunch of people get stabbed and everything,
Yeah.
it's just a different thing. It's real hits heavier.
Yeah, 1,000%.
And you're right though, that reality is too heavy anymore.
It's
that
too
it's
much.
like, just walk outside.
Yeah. If I don't get depressed, I'll watch the fake news. Everybody knows they're lying anyway.
Yeah. But I mean, like, we can quite literally just walk outside. A woman was set on fire on the subway.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like,
I already forgot about that. Like that's how fucked up the world
couple
is.
news cycles ago.
Yeah, that was what, like 2 weeks ago, 3
Yeah.
weeks ago, something like that. That's
Exactly.
crazy. My goodness.
My grandma was so concerned for me.
Are they lighting everyone on fire, Christopher?
I like had to explain to her, just like, I don't sleep on the train.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
gonna lay down and sleep on the train, and also but I promise I'll remain diligent.
But that's also like, and we've talked about this before, I don't know if we've talked about it in the podcast before, but it's like, people who don't live here also, they see one news story about like an isolated thing that like never happens.
Yeah.
And they're like, that city's falling apart. You got to get out of there. You be safe. Well, you know what I mean? Like, even like my aunt, I love her to death. She lives, she used to live in Queens. Now she lives in Long Island. And even her, like, she'll like say stuff
Believes
to
the
me.
doom.
Completely.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I get it, but like, you're not here. You don't, it's
don't
not
really
like
see
that
it.
all the time. It's, in any big city, any city, you're going to get fucked up shit that happens.
It's 10 million people.
It's a lot of people. And the fact that it's not like batshit stuff every day, like, what was it, like 70s New York? Was
Yeah.
it, what they call it? Death City, or I forgot what the nickname that they called New York City was. But it was bad. It was really bad. And
Absolutely.
it's not like that. Like,
No.
let's all pump the brakes. Like, people from LA who are like, New York's falling apart, man. Ari Shaffir said it best. He's like, not where I live. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's the same. People just don't get it. It's fine.
People don't get it.
Yeah.
And there's always that. That's just like, that even goes back. That's beyond just a United States thing, but the city people versus non-city people or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But it really I definitely have seen it, especially with New York, that it's like New York, like trying to use New York as an example of a bad city is like really dumb.
Yeah.
Because the stats just don't support that.
Yeah.
Like,
even when I moved here, I remember we were when I went to school, we got like a tour from like where the people from the school, like we were just like going on the subways and stuff like that. And they were trying to like scare the shit out of us about like the subways even. They're like, make sure that if you ride the subway, you stay in the middle cars. The end cars are so dangerous and this, that, and the other thing. And like after like a week of like my bullshit meter was like already up. Like I'm like, why are these people so scared? Like it's not that bad here anymore. And after like a month or two of living here, I was like, what the fuck were they talking about? Yeah. I ride in the end cars all the time. They're empty. It's great.
Yeah,
I love it down
exactly.
there. No one's robbing me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's such an interesting thing. People like asserting their, like, I know what's going on where you live. It's like, you don't.
You don't.
You have no idea.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been living here now for, what are we at now? 17 years at this point. It's like, this is not, it's not that bad.
It's not.
It's not that bad.
It's not.
There's very few times, I said this to you the other day, I can count on maybe one hand how many times I've been in a situation where I was like, oh shit, I don't feel safe right now. One hand.
Yeah.
In 17 years.
Yeah.
That means that either I'm really good at staying out of trouble or, it's not that bad.
Yeah, exactly. It's it's a combination. You don't go places you shouldn't be going. Or, like,
Also,
you mind your own
accurate.
business.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing, and that should be a rule anywhere, though. Just mind your own business to begin with. Like, especially in New York. Like, the crazy guy yelling, don't respond.
Exactly.
What are you doing talking to him?
Don't respond and don't make eye contact. It's all very simple stuff.
It's so simple. It's the stuff I want to, even with the non-crazy people, I'm not making eye contact with you.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to you.
No.
You're
The last thing I want to do is talk to anybody on the subway.
No, it's big fans of New York.
We love it here.
I'll reel us back. Who is your favorite? And I'll give you a
Oh, back
second
to
to think of
VPR?
it. Favorite overall cast member. Favorite
On
main cast
Vanderpump?
member. Yeah. Overall, number one.
Oh my
You have to pick one.
gosh. I have to pick one of my favorite Vanderpump cast members. That's so tough. I mean, who do you even go with?
Would you rather tell me your least favorite first? Is that easier?
I don't think so.
That might be harder.
That might be harder. Oh man, I wish I had prepared a speech. I mean, favorite. I think now I really like. God, I don't even know. I mean, the one I hate the most, I would probably say, is Tom Sandoval. I've hated Tom Sandoval since the moment I laid eyes on him. But I mean, also,
Yeah.
I was introduced to Vanderpump by watching the first thing I ever saw of Vanderpump was the reunion from Scandival. So like, I knew he was a piece of shit.
All about him
Cheating,
cheating.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I knew he was a cheater. I knew he was a piece of shit. And then I went back and watched from episode 1. But even from that, I think even if I didn't have that knowledge, I still would be like, this guy sucks. He's like such what a loser.
Yeah.
And you know what? My favorite person, not necessarily like as a character, but like as a human, I loved Bo.
Yeah.
I was really bummed out when they left the show because
Agreed.
I was
Well,
like,
you know what? We'll just jump right to that too. That because he is, I was going to ask you a favorite non-main character.
yeah,
Because that was the thing.
Ken.
Well, and exactly. I knew we were going to have similar answers with that.
Yeah.
The only outside of that, because yeah, Bo is probably for me the only reason. I was really trying to think of like people who weren't connected to main cast members, but that's what gets you on the show. So
Right,
you have to be
yeah.
connected somehow. So I'd said, yeah, obviously Ken, Bo, and then honestly, jokes aside, Brittany's Mamaw.
oh, Brittany's Mamaw is great.
Something about her just seems. Maybe she reminds me of my grandmom a little bit, or just like a general grandmom. She's super. I don't know.
Yeah,
hardcore Kentucky lady.
And you know what? Brittany's up there for me also as far as like people that I like too. I lived down south for a long time, and I always say this to Tiff. I'm like, Brittany just reminds me of like people I grew up with and like went to high school with.
Yeah.
So like, I also like felt myself like caring for her more and like wanting her to like get out of that bullshit with Jax. I'm like, girl, you're so much better than Jax. What are you doing?
Yeah.
You know? So it's like Brittany's probably up there too, and that's only because like she just reminds me of people that I grew up with. But yeah, I feel because like I mean I love Ariana now. I love Katie now. Like these versions of themselves. I think are the best versions of them.
Yeah.
Since the show began. I mean, obviously they've grown up and they're adults now, and
Yeah. It's a long time to be on TV.
it's a very long time to be on TV.
Yeah.
So, Lala's up there also with least favorite.
Yeah.
Not a fan of Lala.
Yeah. And Katie would maybe be my like comeback player of the year or
Totally.
most improved.
Totally, yeah.
And Lala, the opposite of that.
That's very true.
Like
'cause
Lala is my Ben Simmons.
you were high on Lala when she got on the show. And
I
then,
was high on Lala.
Yeah.
Love a crazy girl. But,
Yeah. But she just got...
I feel like she's not even really crazy. I think she's crazy for the hashtag. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
for the
crazy for the
bit.
character. Like she's
Yeah.
not actually crazy. Like I don't know. I sense so much bullshit with her.
A lot of
constantly.
it. Well, she tries to be
proves
this
that.
like, I'm a street smart girl, but you're from Utah, sweetheart. Like you're
That's
not.
a character I think too. Like,
It's all put on.
Exactly.
It's all put on.
Street smarts.
Yeah, and you almost married Randall Emmett, so let's relax.
Exactly.
How smart could you be?
No, and had a child with him too. Let's not forget that they reproduced.
Oh my goodness. How that ever happened? I have no idea.
My number one, and I want to put this. In writing, and I'm gonna tag her too. But Stassi is that I think it's. I've decided this like on like a recent one of these many recent rewatches too, that she and it could be a little bit that I love what she grew into.
Same, yeah.
But I think also
she's like Katie in that way.
throughout
Honestly,
the weird thing is though, is that like I did not like Katie, and again, Katie Maloney, I think you're great. Who the fuck am I? First off, who am I?
come on the pod, Katie.
Yeah, I would love to have Katie on the pod. She's the best. We talk about pop punk music, but the worst thing about her, in all those years was her significant other. So I also can't hold that against her.
Yeah.
She was bringing out the worst in her.
1,000%. And that's why I give Katie grace, because I think that she was dealing with so much bullshit and didn't realize, like, how much better she was than him. And he was just dragging her down so much. But you're saying Stassi in the other way, that wasn't necessarily her issue.
Right. Because she didn't have Tom Schwartz. Yeah, she had other shitty boyfriends.
Of course.
It never felt like she, or at least to me, was like being a different person because of anyone. Yeah, like we saw less of her when she was with that Patrick dude because she moved to New York.
And he was a disaster,
He was a disaster.
But I loved, and in the same way that, like, I love Bo so much, I loved, like, what Bo brought out of Stassi also. Like, I just love, like, I wish that they would never, because she's, I think, from what I hear, over these people, but, like, I would love if they were on the Valley.
I would too.
Because, like, they're just the best.
I would too.
You know, I love him, I love her, I love them together.
Yeah.
Easy television to watch.
Yeah.
And I'm sure she could, still bring it and
100%.
cause some controversy.
Well, and that's part of why I love her too, though, because again, the question isn't necessarily who do you think is the best person.
Right.
I don't think that Stassi's a bad person by any means necessary. I think she's a great person. I think she got there.
Yeah,
But part of what I loved about her also, like in maybe her not so proud moments, is her she'll say whatever's on her mind.
Completely.
I respect that and love that out of anyone. Guy, girl, whoever. Like just people who say what's on their mind. I think there's something to that.
Yeah,
and for a show like that, like she knew, like you said, she knows how to bring it.
The reason that show worked is that every single person understood the assignment.
Yeah.
And they did a great job. I mean, we always make fun of them. Season 1, I think it was episode 1, Tom Sandoval. I don't know if I want, like, Michael Jackson level fame or, like, the most Delulu person on the planet, but, like, he believed that shit.
Yeah. He
was like, I believe this, but I know it also makes for good television, so I'm going to say that also.
Sheena thought she was Britney Spears.
Oh my God, Sheena Shea.
And again, it's James Kennedy. It's not a joke that he thinks he's the white Kanye. He thinks he is the white Kanye, and that is so delusional.
Yeah,
and such a ridiculous statement. But I respect you for it.
He might be up there too as far as favorite character because he's definitely one of the most entertaining people. Like, he makes me laugh out loud probably more than any other person on that show. Like, he just had so many great one-liners, whether they were disgusting things that I could never say myself or just, like, hilarious observations. And, like, even in this most recent season when, like, he went to go see Tom after everyone was shitting on Tom, and Tom was like, he was in the middle of a rehearsal with his shitty cover band.
Yeah.
Just the look, like, he's even good at looks. Like, the way he was just, like, looking at these people, like, what the fuck are these people doing? This is so terrible. And just, like, he's just the best. So,
yeah, you're right. Character-wise, he could potentially. Because, he doesn't miss a beat.
Never.
It's such a throwaway thing of, it was around, I guess, the cheating times. They were having a pool party at Ariana and Tom's. And Tom was doing something annoying. And Ariana was like, Tom, we're not doing that today. And without missing a beat, James Kennedy, oh, we're not doing that today? Again, she wasn't mad at anything. She was like on her side. Yeah. Oh, we're not doing that today?
Yeah.
So good.
Oh, yeah.
At the Scandival reunion, him sing.
Worm with a mustache.
Worm with a mustache, but also, these are the best days of our lives.
He's honestly, because I told you the first thing that I ever watched was that Scandival reunion. So, like, part of the reason that because Tiff was just watching it one day, because I wasn't watching this yet. I was only watching other Bravo stuff at the time. And she was like, I have to watch the Vanderpump reunion. And I was like, all right, whatever. So it's on in the background. And, like, hearing him just yell at Sandoval that entire time, that's honestly what got me to sit down.
Yeah.
I was like, who is he calling a worm with a mustache? This is so great. And I sat down, I was like, oh, that guy does look a fucking worm with a mustache. He looks terrible. He's like a shitty Bond villain. What's going on? And then just seeing him just talk shit and, like, get up and, like, almost fight him and stuff, and yo, pussy ass bitch. It was all so over the top, and just, I really think he might be the reason that I really sat down to watch it. So maybe because of that, I have to say maybe that he was my favorite character.
I think we might have fleshed out the.
I think we just fleshed that out.
Yeah, because you're not wrong there.
Person is Bo.
It's always Bo.
God, I'd love to just get a beer with him. Go to a
Absolutely.
ball game.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, Bo is phenomenal. Like you said, he brought out the best in Stassi. I'm sure that she brings out the best in him too.
Yeah.
You'd say, but yeah, no, he's just so genuine because none of them seem like. And I'll even include Stassi and like the more normal ones. Like we stand Ariana, but like she's part of that too. None of them seem like that normal.
Right.
Ever. And he seems so normal. Of just like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm Bo. I'm here for my tall black coffee.
Yeah. Well, and that's part of why too. When he was first on the show, I remember thinking to myself, and I might have said this to Tiff. I was like, this guy's not going to last. He either Stassi's going to chew him up and spit him out, or this whole group is going to chew him up and spit him out. I was like, this is going to be too much for this guy.
Yeah.
But to his credit, he clearly loves Stassi. They married with kids now,
Yeah.
but he loved that girl, and he stuck by her and was like, put a ring on it.
I could have done it too. Very, very patient. But if it wasn't going to be me, I'm Bo. I'm so happy.
Glad it
with
was
you.
Bo.
I'm
Glad
so
it was
Bo. That's phenomenal.
Oh my goodness.
We got to do a fuck, marry, kill.
Of course.
Tom Sandoval,
Oh Christ.
Tom Schwartz, and Lala Kent.
Oh my goodness. I think you actually made this too easy for me now that I'm thinking about it. I'm gonna fuck Lala. I'm gonna kill Tom Sandoval. I'm gonna marry Tom Schwartz.
That was too easy.
It was too easy. That was way too easy. You can't take it back now. And I'll go through the reasons.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you don't, Lala's an attractive woman.
Yeah.
Not anyone that I would, in my single days have ever pursued because she's batshit crazy. But pretty girl nonetheless.
Yeah.
That knocks out the fuck portion.
Sure.
Between marrying Tom Sandoval and Tom Schwartz, Tom Schwartz is, I think at his core, a nice guy.
Yeah.
He's just a buffoon.
Yeah.
I think he's a buffoon who's like a little selfish and narcissistic.
Yeah.
And doesn't really care that much about other people.
Sure.
But if he's someone that I could like go get a beer with.
Yeah.
Watch the game with. Have a meal.
Yeah.
Stuff that married people do.
And also, it would be sexless. So
Yeah. It would be a sexless marriage. There'd be nothing there. Good night, sweetheart. Going to bed, Tom. No docking tonight. You're welcome. Look that one up if you want.
docking with a D.
And I mean, come on. If you're going to kill any of those people, it's going to be Tom Sandoval.
It's got to be him.
Yeah. Thank you for the easy one this week, though. I
Yeah,
appreciate
that.
that.
That actually just made me think, though, of a joke that I missed. I was going to say that my favorite side character was the most extras. Tom Sandoval's band.
You mean his best friends in the final season of Vanderpump Rules?
That he pays?
That he pays to be his best friends?
It's for some reason like 14-piece band.
Yeah. 14-piece band and Kyle Chan are his best friends on the planet.
Not touching that. Not touching that. So, actually, we're doing pretty good timing. Still have a couple minutes, so we'll wrap it up with a big one. Wicket. Which you are quite the fan of.
Yes.
I am also. You're definitely not wrong.
Yeah.
My biggest question, because you come from the theater world. Mm-hmm. Admittedly, you were never like a huge musical guy.
Ever.
But you also have seen musicals. And
Definitely.
There are musicals you like. So the question is, what was it about Wicket that, turned you into, I don't think I'm speaking out of turn here to say, like, turned you into a musical guy?
Oh, I mean, I left Wicked and well, let me preface it with this. I went to Performing Arts High School. We had plenty of musicals. A lot of my friends were in, oh my goodness. Hello, Dolly?
Hello, Dolly. Yeah.
Hello, Dolly. And I just never enjoyed it.
Sure.
I never went to a musical and I was like, wow, I was thoroughly invested in the characters and enjoyed the music. And when I was a kid, I loved Sound of Music. That was shown to me when I was a kid. I really enjoyed that. But other than that, Newsies I liked when I was a kid. But even that I didn't watch all the time. But it was never really, even as a performing arts high school and middle school, I was just never a musical person. So like really after I left, that was like the most exposure I'd had to it was in the performing arts high school. Shout out Northwest School of the Arts, Charlotte, North Carolina. I never really gave anything else a chance
Fair.
because I just didn't really care. They did Sweeney Todd at my high school also, and like even that I was like, it's all right. I'm not a huge fan, so never really gave anything else a chance. And then this is years. Then Tiff got me to watch Hamilton,
Yeah.
which at first I was like, whatever. And then I watched it I kind of like half watched it and like enjoyed some of the music from afar, like when I was like not really paying attention to it.
Yeah.
But then I gave it like a real watch, and I was like, oh, this is good.
Yeah.
This is fun. I enjoy this.
Yeah.
I wasn't like blown away like this is the best thing ever, but like I was like, oh, I could watch that more than once, kind of thing,
Yeah.
right? Which I never really, besides with like The Sound of Music when I was a kid, there was no other musical that I was like, oh, I want to watch this again.
Got it.
So that was kind of the first one of those. And then Wicked was coming out, and Tiff is a huge Wicked fan. She saw the OG cast and everything on Broadway, and she was so pumped for it. And she was like, "We have to see this." I was like, "Of course, we'll definitely go see it." And like, I was like indifferent about it. I didn't mind seeing it. I wasn't like, "Oh God, I don't want to go see it. This is going to be terrible." Because I love Cynthia Erivo. I know that she's super talented, great singer. I was a little concerned about Ariana Grande doing like a musical kind of stuff, but I was like, "What? She's a good singer, though, so I'm sure it'll be fine."
Good start, yeah.
Goldblum's in it.
Yeah.
How bad could it be?
Yeah.
We go to see it, and like the opening number, No One Warns the Wicked, and I was just like awestruck at just the production value, the choreography, the performance of the singers, all of it. I was just like, wow, this is really good. And I kind of peeped over at Tiff to see how, because I knew that the bar for her was going to be really high as to how it needed to be.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I really like this. I wonder how she's like. And I kind of looked over at her after the first number, and she kind of looked over at me, and she just gave me this like a thumbs up, like, yep, we're good. I was like, okay, she's into it. Cool. Also, cool. And just from there, like, I got emotional, like multiple points in that first viewing of it during a bunch of different numbers. But like, I had never watched a musical before and been like, wow, that choreography is really good. Like during What Is This Feeling?
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that was good. And then Tiff always makes fun of me now because like after that number, I leaned over and was like, that's my favorite so far. Like I was so hyped about that one. I mean, even now, like, that's like one of my favorite ones. But the thing I loved about Wicked was that it's a musical, but it was done so well that while you're watching it, you almost forget you're watching a musical because the acting is so good and the production value is so good and the storyline and like how they flesh stuff out, as far as I've been told, like additions that you didn't get in the actual musical, like the Broadway production.
Yeah, right.
The way they flesh stuff out. You kind of forget you're watching a musical, and then a number will start. You're like, oh, shit, right, this is a fucking musical. Okay, cool, let's see what this is now.
Right.
And Cynthia Erivo is insanely talented. Ariana Grande killed it. Even Goldblum was great in it. And I just thought, I was like, wow, I can't wait to see part 2.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of glad that I don't know what's going to happen. We may go see the Broadway show before part 2 comes out, but
I do want to do that.
I've watched it now probably close to 10 times. Listened to the fucking soundtrack on a regular basis.
Yeah.
I never thought that I would have a musical invoke that kind of emotion out of me, where I was like literally just like crying during multiple parts of that, during obviously the end, Defying Gravity, and the scene where they're at the Ozdust, where they're doing the she walks in with the hat and everyone's making fun of her and all that stuff. That whole thing.
Yeah.
There were so many parts where I was just like touched.
Absolutely.
And just like invoked so much emotion out of me. But I said to Tiff, like when we walked out of that theater, and this is the first time I'd ever said anything like this in my entire life. I was like, wow, I want to do a musical now. I want to make a musical movie.
Yeah.
Like that movie inspired me to want to make a musical movie also.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And something, if you had asked me even a year ago, 2 years ago, like, hey, you're going to say this after you see a musical, I'd be like, get the fuck out of here. No, I'm not.
I'm drinking heavy again.
Yeah. Oh, I'm back on the alcohol, huh? Why don't you put the Met game on? Why don't you shut the fuck up and put the baseball game on? Like that's what my response would be. But yeah,
Right.
so 10 out of 10. If you haven't seen it, you're wasting time.
That's a definite agree.
Yeah, but big fan.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. So you just say in general, just it pulled emotions from you that you hadn't had pulled from you by musicals before.
Never had a musical, and honestly, even like straight theater.
Yeah.
Like I've watched theater that like obviously like got feelings out of me and affected me in some kind of way, but this was just so much.
Yeah.
And that because you're mixing now like it's like film acting with this also, right?
Sure.
So like a Broadway production, you get more of that over the top performance, right? Whereas
Yeah.
this was a lot more like screen acting. So you're getting those like tiny moments, those little like, during what's it called? Defying Gravity, during that part where she Glinda puts the cape around Elphaba.
Yeah.
And she's got the one tears coming down her face, and she kind of just like smiles at her and like winks at her, like just those little moments that like you're not gonna pick up on
Yeah.
on a stage production of anything.
Absolutely.
Those little things hit you so much harder.
Yeah, for sure.
No,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And like you said too, just the adding of the additional dialogue and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't get that on the stage.
Yeah.
Which I think it's a phenomenal movie in general. Because like you said, it's beyond just a musical.
Yeah.
You almost do forget it's a musical.
Completely. And it was interesting for me to hear Tiff's perspective after the fact as far as the things that they had like added, obviously that wasn't in the stage production, right? So like the things that they had fleshed out more, like it was interesting in real time for her to lean over to be like, that wasn't in the show. And be like, oh wow, that's a cool thing that they added, and seeing like the things, the different layers they added onto things, and I was just really impressed with all of it, the cinematography, the acting, all of it. It was great.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, 10 out of 10 would
That's
recommend.
us.
That's it.
That's us.
I guess we saw what happened.
Yeah, we saw what happened. I hope you liked it.
If not, I don't really care.
If not, whatever.
All right, it's all good.
I'm doing this from an iPad, people. No, but honestly though, yeah. I mean, I'll say we end it with if you haven't seen Wicked, and if you're not a musical person, this is the guy.
Go.
Look at him. Mets is the personality.
I'm wearing a Mets hat and a crew neck that says bagels on it. If you're not going to listen to me about it, who are you going to listen to?
Yeah.
If you don't like musicals, I'm telling you, go.
I'm telling you, go. No, honestly, truly, let that be your first one. And thank you. Thank you for coming on again.
Of course.
I'm sure I'll have you on real soon.
Yeah, I live a couple doors down. So
You do. Yeah.
Always a pleasure.
Thanks, guys.